Hello and greetings to every one of you. This is the Scrabble man again. Today we are going to go through a game. So I'm going to be annotating a game between two people named Alex and Betty. And this is primarily aimed at beginners. So if you are just being introduced to the game, I'm going to annotate this game at your level. So this is not for players who know a bit of Scrabble, who have learned some funny words, or even it's not for people who've really played this at a very high level. So you're going to be finding this very boring. Nevertheless, if you're just a level up, you might find this helpful because there are some basics that I go through that'll be useful for your game as well. So let's get into it straight away. So Alex starts. And he's got this rack here. It's a very interesting rack. So he's got ARLERAY. Wonder what he could do with this. So just to reiterate, the best strategy, the first move, is to try and aim for the double letter squares, so which is 4 spaces from the center square going up or sideways or down. So you have to cover the center square. So that's a rule that you've got to follow if you're starting off. The center square should be covered, but the best course of action would be to try and aim for the double letter square, especially if you can get one of the big consonants on that double letter square. So the biggest consonant, of course, on this rack is Y. So you would like to get your Y on one of those double letter squares, which is 4 spaces from the center square. So let's see what our options could be. Yes, so you can play something simple like Ray for 12 points, and the placing of Ray is also important. So you play the A. You place the A on the center square. You don't try and place the A next to one of the double letter squares, because that would enable your opponent to maximize his or her score next turn, or her score, because we're playing Betty. So it's important that you play the A on the center square when you play Ray, if you are going to play Ray, that is. Let's see whether we have any more. Yes, we have layer. So we are reaching our double letter square that is nearest, that could be reached from the center square. But ideally, we would like to have our Y on the double letter square. So let's see whether we have any more options. Yes, there is a word. There is relay. So there's relay for 24 points. So we could play that. Let's see whether we have any more options. There is early as well. Yes, there is early. I've just realized there is actually another word that you could play for a few more points. You could play rally. So that's RARELY, with the Y being placed on the double letter square. But with rally, the problem is you're only hanging on to an A. So it's better to hang on to a consonant and a vowel than just a consonant, because things can get a bit quirky with the tiles that you may get. It's always good to have slightly more consonants than vowels. So let's just play early, and we'll see what Betty has. Okay, so this is Betty's rack. Betty has BLDIEED. Very interesting rack. I'll just give you a moment to think of moves, and then I'll discuss them. Okay, so let's see options. Yes, there is bed. Bed for 18 points. Like I said, you should try and avoid, from Alex's point of view, when he did play relay, you should try and avoid placing vowels next to the double letter square that could be reached after you play the first turn. So the E of relay is exposed next to a double letter score, because what you could do though is that you could place a heavy scoring consonant next to that vowel, and you could get the double letter square twice over, like what's happened now. So Betty's placed the D next to the E of relay, so she did get the D twice over. So D is not as bad as placing an H or a W.